2 halves. Five, 7 plus 2 halves. Well, of course, we know that equals 1. We could say 5 plus 7. 5 over 7 plus 1. But you would say 1 and 5 sevenths. We want to know how many sevenths that is, or how many halves. So is 2 a factor of 7? No, it is not. So we would not multiply 2 by 7 just by itself, just to get find the lowest common denominator. But we would have to multiply both. We would have. What I'm saying is 2 is not a factor of 7, so we would not use. We would not take that into consideration when using that to determine what our lowest common denominator is. Here, the lowest common denominator is 14. Lowest common denominator is 14. So we're going to multiply 7 by 2 and 2 by 7. But remember, we multiply both the numerator and the denominator by that number. Because remember, we're going to use the principle that dividing a number by 1 does not change the number. Remember, we don't want to change the value of our fractions. We just want to change the numbers so that the denominators are the same numbers so that we can add them. Meaning the fractions represent actual spaces or areas. Meaning this here means 5 of 7 parts. This is 2 of 2 parts, or 1 whole. So you're not changing the proportion. So you're not changing the proportion or the value. Look up the term lowest common denominator. Now here we multiply 5 times 7, keeping in mind that multiplying that number by 1 does not change the number. So we multiply 5 over 7 by 2 over 2, because 2 is the denominator here. Is the denominator. Then we get 10. We get 10 over 14 for 5 sevenths. So 5 sevenths equals 10 over 14. So So 2. So we got to find what is the equivalent fraction. What is the equivalent value of 2/2 in 14ths, written in 14ths? So we have to multiply by both the numerator and the denominator by 7, which is like multiplying a number by 1, which does not change the number. Now that comes out to 14 14ths. 14 14ths, which is still 1. 2 over 2 is 1. Now we have 10 14ths plus 14 14ths. That's going to give us 10 plus 14 over 14, which equals 24 14ths. Also, I wanted to talk about fractions, about negativity in fractions, about negative fractions. A negative fraction is equal to the same as that when you multiply a number by a -1, you can factor out a -1 from that number. Likewise, from a fraction, it's like being multiplied by -1. And for fractions, it does not matter where the negative sign is. It's the same. Therefore, a negative fraction. Now, this does not mean if you have a subtraction in the numerator's position that you can just go change up the minus sign like that. That's not what I'm saying. But I'm saying if you have a fraction that is negative, if the fraction is a negative number, placing the negative sign in the numerator's position is no different from placing it in the denominator's position. It is one and the same. It does not change the fact that it is simply a negative fraction. And this is all similar to multiplying a fraction by a -1. And here you can see that dividing a number by -1 is the same as multiplying it. So this is equal to also -1 by a over b, equal to a over -1 factored out of b. These are all equivalent.